The Commander-in-Chief of Uganda People's Defense Forces, His Excellency Gen.Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, prioritized affordable education to all children of soldiers from primary to senior secondary school level in all Uganda People's Defense Forces divisions across the country.
I'm Kadogo Staremwa. I'm the Acting Chief of Education, Sports and Culture. I'm a teacher by profession from Makerere University. I also hold a Masters of Education, Education Management and Planning from Mukumba University. Before I became an Acting Chief, I was the Director of Education for 2 years. And there I have also served as the Deputy Chief of Education, Sports and Culture. And so recent that I've come here to take over this office from August, last year August. And since then I've been here as an Acting Chief of Education, Sports and Culture. Recently the CDF, the Chief of Defense Forces, gave me an assignment that I should, in addition to being the Deputy Chief of Education, Sports and Culture, I should directly supervise education and sports in the Army. So that's how I serve UPDF. About UPDF formal education institutions, right now UPDF has 52 formal education institutions, and their breakdown: we have 37 primary schools, we have 11 secondary schools, we have 2 community polytechnics, we have 1 technical institute, and we also have 1 health institute which is located in Jinja. The reason for these schools, they are there to provide quality and affordable education to soldiers' children. However, civilians also in the neighboring communities, they bring their children in these schools and we accommodate them. When you look at the percentages right now of the soldiers' children in these schools, they range from 40 to 60%. And that therefore the other additionals are civilian children who come and study from us, from our schools. Our philosophy in UPDF, we look at civilians as being water and soldiers the fish. And by that principle, that's why we still keep accommodating soldiers, other civilian children in these schools.
I'm the head teacher of Bombo Army Secondary School. I'm a civilian, actually I'm the only civilian heading an army school. And Bombo Army School started in 1997 with 72 students for both Senior 1 and Senior 2. It was started as a directive from Commander-in-Chief for the welfare of the soldiers to educate the children of the soldiers, foreign comrades, surrounding community, and soldiers, those who had not yet completed, like the Kadogos, in the quest for professionalizing the army. At the moment, we have grown. It started with 1 building, the old campus. You have seen the old campus. One was primary, the other one was secondary. At the moment, we are 3,723 from Senior 1 to Senior 6.
The 47 army schools have served the intended core values of the vision of the President. I spoke to the Chief of Education, Sports and Culture, Kadogo Staremwa, and Alsi Birungi the head teacher of Bombo Army Senior Secondary School, about the status of army schools in Uganda.
Children of the soldiers are 72%, and 28% are from the surrounding community. It was started because actually it was the third among army schools. The first one is in Nakasongola, the second one is Air Force, and Bombo Army was the third. They started the army schools because soldiers would get stuck after transferring from one unit to another. That's why in army schools we admit from January up to December. Even after registration, we admit and they go back and do the exams. So the foundation body as a UPDF, actually it is the only foundation body that puts money in their school. Other foundation body, they give you land and the rest you sort out. But for them, they give us teachers. Like I have a staff of 112 teachers, and 49 of them are soldier teachers. Then Ministry of Education, Board of Governors, we source out the most especially science teachers, and then Modiva also. So we have 4 categories of teachers.
When it comes to management of these schools, they are all government aided schools. They run under UPE, they run under USE or UPLOD, where we are supposed to be providing, providing free service, education service, like other institutions outside. They are all UPDF funded, so UPDF is the foundation body for these schools. In terms of academic performance, for the last almost 6 years, the academic performance for these schools has been moving well, improving. This year, the performance was very, very commendable, be it at UPE, be it at PLE, be it at UCE, and be it at USCE. The performance has been commendable. Most of our schools has challenged their counterpart schools which are under UPE and UCE, the neighboring communities. For example, if you look at primary schools, in some ways it was the best among the UPDF primary schools, and challenged most of the UPEs, all the UPEs in the Entebbe area. When you talk about the UCE, Masinde Army has been the best in the whole of Masinde area in terms of academic performance. And most surprising, and what the Army was looking at, what makes it much more happier, is that, for example, for Masinde, where one child got 8 at UCE, was a child of a soldier. And that one is going now to motivate all the soldiers to bring their children in these schools. Some 6 years back, most of the soldiers had bias about these schools. They used to think that they are of poor quality, their children could not perform well, do well in those schools. And they used to take their children to private schools where they incur very heavy cost. And when you look at the salaries and welfare for the soldiers, the salaries are too small, so you find most of them taking lots and lots of loans. With this academic performance and increased sensitization, we are looking forward to seeing most of the soldiers bring children to these schools. We have already noticed increased numbers of learners, be it for soldiers and civilians, now flooding into our schools. Recently, after the UCE exams, schools like Masindi, schools like Air Force, schools like Bombo, they had to call me to seek for advice on how best they should handle the overflooding numbers of learners who are coming to their schools seeking for vacancies.
When the National Resistance Army took power in 1986, the Commander-in-Chief of Uganda People's Defense Forces, Gen.Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, initiated army schools to provide affordable and equitable education for the children of soldiers from primary and senior secondary level.
We are aiming at equipping them with skills. We focus on skill development and discipline. If someone is skilled and is disciplined, it is very easy to be absorbed in the job market. And we have qualified teachers. Actually, all of them are qualified. And we aim at teamwork so that we complement each other. And the surrounding community, knowing that the soldiers are disciplined, they tend to abuse that. If you have a child who is unruly, when you take him or her to an army school, he's going to be put in shape. And we are trying. And we have very disciplined students, because you really have to fit in, and very talented students, self-motivated. Like in the last games, last year we represented Uganda in Rwanda in handball. We are the champions of USFA. USFA is the army schools. Among the army schools, we always have our own games. And at least we always host, being at the general headquarters, we take an advantage over other schools. And we are the champions. So a holistic person should be academically strong and all around. So we are doing both. Even football, we are really doing very well. The discipline, as I told you, the soldier teachers are really doing a tremendous job, and they are here 24/7. That is the surrounding community. They know that when you go to army school, actually here they know we are very smart. Smartness and discipline is number one. And of course, when you come from another school, we take you through, and the rules are very clear, and you have no option other than following the rules.
The schools were meant to provide affordable and equitable education to children of soldiers for holistic development.
In terms of future challenges like other USE and UP schools, we still face some challenges of infrastructure. That one cuts across. And in some areas also, we are still having a few challenges with teacher motivation. Some of the teachers who would want to be for extra work, or because of their limited pay, they would want to get some motivation so they can perform much better than they are performing. However, the strategic leadership is looking forward into how best they can handle infrastructure, so that we have that one sorted out. I've already had an engagement with the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, and I've been tasked to conduct a needs assessment for all UPDF schools. Today morning, I had a meeting with the Director of Education, Director of Inspection of Schools and their teams, and we are taking on that assignment of trying to study the needs assessment with a view of bringing the attention of UPDF, and then we look at whatever intervention that can be done to make these schools' infrastructure get better than it is. Future plans for these schools. At every UPDF is undertaking a program of constructing homes for brigades, and at every brigade headquarters we are looking at having a primary school. We are also looking at a secondary school. So that means the number of schools for UPDF is going to be increasing and increasing as the house, the accommodate brigades. We are looking at increasing the number of technical schools so that we can increase more skilling of the children that go through these schools. We are also looking at a UPDF university. All those plans are on the way, and we think moving forward, we shall have a full-fledged education infrastructure in the army. With that, I need to thank the Command-in-Chief and the strategic leadership for that visionary leadership, because it's because of them that we have these schools running. And also, they have captured education as being one of the strategic welfare interventions for soldiers, in addition to medical, and also in addition to accommodation for soldiers. So that done, a soldier will be in position to confidently go and set on his job, because he'll be sure that my child is at school learning, and then if the child studies free of charge for a soldier's child, then the soldier can confidently take on his job and protect or do what he's supposed to be doing as for the provision of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda.
Them are disadvantaged wherever they are, and when they come and get the same environment, they really perform. So we embrace everybody, most especially if he's a child of a soldier, and they are really doing well. And with the new curriculum, of course, we have not yet sat the exams, but I think it's the right way to go because it helps students to be more innovative. Even when you see how the methods they are using, the teacher is only to guide them, and they are really coming up with their own innovations. We have embraced the new curriculum, and every term we must get someone to take through the teachers. We call it teacher development, and the students are amazing. We have like a group called the innovators. Maybe when you move around, you will see them. They've made a drone, they've made fans, they've made, you realize really we have been limiting the talents of the students. And the only problem the teachers are getting used is to class control, because when the class is so huge and they have to interact with each other, you find class control becomes a problem. That's why I told you we had to develop the skill of team teaching.
Bombo Army Senior Secondary School came in existence in 1997 and is the third oldest school in the history of Uganda People's Defense Forces, following Nakasongola and Air Force Senior Secondary School in Entebbe.
Already our schools have quite a number of our schools, more especially secondary schools, have science labs, have science laboratories, but they are still wanting because of the enrollments which are swelling time and again. But some also don't have. So the plan is that we would have standard. We would want to see our schools being centers of academic excellence, so that they can be in a position to give a soldier the best quality education that can be provided to any other person, even provided in private schools.
Last year we got 70 in the first grade, but we are disadvantaged by English. The language of the locality is Kiswahili, and actually Kiswahili, all of them almost got a distinction. But we were supposed to have 78, but because of English, so it's like the 3 years back we had 20 28 first grade in 2020, then 54, but we were expecting actually 50, we got 54. Then this time we were expecting 100, but we got 70. So we are on steady progress.
At the moment, Uganda People's Defense Forces has 36 primary schools, 11 senior secondary schools, and 1 polytechnic and 1 medical school.
It's always good to come. Here, like when we call for meetings, it's the mothers who come. Fathers are lost completely. They are nowhere to be seen. And we have a challenge of child-headed families in army schools, because most of the parents are either in Somalia, in Weya, tour of duty, and you find it's the children. So that parental guidance is a bit lacking. So actually, like our senior man and senior woman, you find every day their office is, the work is a bit heavy for them. And they should encourage their children. These days in Uganda, it is science. So be on them to see, and you give them the necessary, the calculators, the practical books, so that they can do science, and we uplift this country in the future, like how China and Singapore, through science, have developed their country.
So, like I said, we are now undertaking a needs assessment. We shall look at where and what is lacking in some areas. Then we have it. We bring the attention of the strategic leadership with a view of having them fixed. We have one school, for example, right now. That's Nakapir Mall. I'm a boarding in Kotido. The UPDF leadership provided funds, and they put a standard science lab. That one is fully equipped. It has 2 sections. I think one is for chemistry and physics, the other is for biology and agriculture, those labs. And our thinking now is that all our laboratories should be standardized, so that we can support the government policy of improving, of working on providing on science and innovation. The government is now looking at science and innovation, and that's the direction also we should be heading.
To the UPDF, to me, I have a feeling really UPDF schools are supposed to be boarding schools, because they stay alone in the barracks. And you know, when a child is not guided, but when they are in the boarding schools, then the school takes charge and takes care. So if they could really make them boarding schools, it would, and even their parents, wherever they are, they would feel at home.
The acting chief of education, sports and culture, Colonel Deus Talemwa, says the army schools ensure that biological children of soldiers are given priority during admission in all Uganda People's Defense Forces founded schools. Alice Birungi, the head teacher of Bombo Army Senior Secondary School, is the only civilian head teacher in the army schools.
Then another appeal to UPDF is if they could aim at making UPDF schools model schools. I had the chance of going to Israel for a course under UNESCO, and the best schools are army schools, first class army schools. So since they provide really almost, if they could aim at making army schools model schools, it can be, and it can be done. It is possible, because at least I know it is possible. It can be done.
After senior 6, for now, they go to other schools which are not under UPDF establishment. But like I mentioned in my opening remarks, I said in the future plans, UPDF intends to have a UPDF university. So moving forward, we shall see with the establishment of the university, then we shall see after senior 6, then some of those students will be in a position to be accommodated in those in that university, and then someone goes through like that from primary up to secondary, rather up to university. I want to agree with you that majority of the runners are coming from lower ranks, but the reason they are coming from there is these other bigger ranks had their pay is slightly higher, and therefore they could afford to go to private schools where they felt they could get much better services in terms of education.
Alice Birungi has transformed Bombo Ame Senior Secondary School from 72 students to 3,723 students in the school. Birungi says focus is on the core values of patriotism, discipline, honesty among the children of soldiers.
Generally, all parents like myself, I'm also a parent, we should know that education is a pillar of society. We should all make an effort to make sure that our children go to school. As for the mindset, our UPDF schools are not the way people used to perceive them. We have learners who are getting 8 and 8 in 8, and these are soldiers' children. So for soldiers, my colleagues, the soldiers know that we can provide the best quality education in these UPDF schools. There is therefore no good reason as to why you should go to those private schools where they overcharge you and they get choked by loans. Bring your children in these schools. We are giving preferential treatment to your children, number one. Your charges are slightly lower as compared to civilians who bring their children here. And then number two, in terms of admission, we give you priority, first priority. So these are your schools, make maximum use of your schools. Come back home to your schools.
Currently, Uganda People's Defense Forces leadership is prioritizing school infrastructure and teachers' welfare directly through resource mobilization.